What's going on YouTube? This is Roger here. I got this video idea randomly and decided to post a Facebook status asking if anybody'd like to see it, and it got an overwhelmingly positive response. So I thought I'd, give some tips and tricks, and I kind of mixed in a little bit of advice that I learned. And these aren't like tips like, you know, random tools that'll help you out or like DIY stuff. These are more like tidbits of information that could be, used and implemented into your, you know, progress making your reef tank. So, without further ado, I have 21 of them, and if I want, I could probably make another video, but I think I'm going to cap it at here. And these aren't in any particular order; they're just kind of, thoughts that I just kind of scribbled down. So, number one, a skimmer can be too big. I ran into this problem with the frag tank, and it skimmed out way too much. I didn't have enough fish, I didn't have enough food. So definitely make sure your skimmer is anywhere from 2 times to 5 times your tank size. Anywhere above 5, then it gets a little iffy if you don't have a lot of livestock or you're not feeding a lot. Number 2, directly related, having too few and too many fish can be detrimental. So fish waste is very natural in the reef tank, and I think that natural waste is really good for the entire ecosystem that you're trying to emulate. I don't think that you should rely solely on artificial wastes like zeolite, all that stuff, and coral foods. I think get a couple fish in there, let them poop, and let it be natural. On the flip side, you can have too many and too much poop, and if you don't have enough filtration, it can be detrimental as well. So definitely a little bit of a bell curve there. These next two are actually kind of interesting. So getting to know the color wheel will help you kind of establish where to put corals. So if you notice you have so many reds or oranges, they'll kind of clash. But if you actually use, there's actually a really good video on, maybe I'll find it, post to my Facebook. But if you use complementary colors, which are colors on the opposite side of the color wheel. So red and green are on the opposite side of the color wheel, and that's why they look so good together. Seeing an example, like purple and green are kind of across. It's like across and like that third of the wheel. I'll find the video and I'll post it to my Facebook. But using complementary colors will really make you a nice dramatic coral placement aquascape. The next one, the rule of thirds. This tank actually doesn't really follow the rule of thirds. It does and it doesn't. It did until I put that last pillar in the back left in there. Then it kind of went away. But the rule of thirds is, it's a big photography thing. I'd suggest just Googling it. I don't want to explain it right now, but lining things up with where your eyes are built to naturally look to find interesting points can really take your aquascape to the whole next level. But that goes out the window when your corals grow too big and they block it off. So the next one is buy the best or close to the best first, rather than spending money a couple times on lesser quality materials. Like don't get 3 or 4 different Chinese LEDs when you know deep down that you really want that nanobox or that Radion. Just save up, get the Radion, get the nanobox, get the ATI. Just it'll save you so much frustration. This I kind of talked about already. Number 6, feed everything, and feed them a lot of different types of things. So my feeding schedule for this tank is pretty extensive, just to get a good variety. Because just like a human diet, you wouldn't probably be that healthy if you just ate chicken every day. Same thing with coral, and fish. You don't want to be giving them the same thing because they're not going to be eating the same thing in the wild. So. And we're already doing enough damage keeping them in a glass box, so at least give them a courtesy of a varied diet. Number 7, a sump you can clean easily, or is a sump that you can easily get to. So build your stand so you can easily get to your sump. I did not do that, and my sump is a bitch to clean. So definitely plan ahead to give you a lot of clearance. Be able to slide that, disconnect it, and slide it out, and give it a good cleaning. Number 8, have some backups. I ran into a problem with the frag tank with a leak, and I had an extra tank, luckily. And that may not be the case for some other people, but luckily I had another tank. But have some backups, pumps, tubing, tanks, bulbs, heaters, just in case something goes wrong, you can just swap it right back out. It may not have to be the exact model, but, something to replace what you've lost, especially if it's something like a return pump, or like a heater. Definitely have a couple heaters around. Number 9, don't settle for fine. This is reef tanks are an ecosystem, and they're also a work of art. So if your gut says, oh, this would look better if you do it, just do it, because there's a chance that after a certain point the corals are going to get so encrusted that you just can't change it. So definitely plan ahead and strive for the best possible reef tank you can within your I don't know what I'm trying to say, within your ability. And the flip side of that is don't keep changing things. Don't keep changing bulbs or lighting spectrum on your LEDs. Don't keep moving around rocks. Don't keep changing flow placement. Once I switch to these bulbs, I'm probably never going to switch bulb combos again, purely because these corals will adapt to that lighting spectrum. And once you change it, they can either, there's a gamble, they could either do really well or they could just brown out because they're so used to something different. Same thing with flow. Don't just, you've been using, don't just randomly change it for fun. Like if you notice flow is getting decreased and detritus is building up, crank it up a little bit, but don't go from like 40% to 100% just because someone else, has 100% turnover in their tank or whatever. Number 11, pick the salt that matches your parameters closely, or match your parameters to the salt that you like. So if you run your tank at like 7 DKH, but your salt mixes at like 11, every time you do a water change, you're going to spike past your 7, depending on how much water you take out. So right now this tank likes to be around 8, and Aquavicho mixes around 8.3 or 8.4, so it's pretty close. Same thing with calcium and alkalinity. Like pick, either get the salt that you like or has good reviews and keep your parameters around there, or find a salt that you want that's close to your parameters. And there's some salts that you can mix them from scratch too. Number 12, clean everything frequently. My vortex I clean a lot. Probably once every couple months. Don't let stuff settle on it, because they can jam and they can break and they can fall off. And same thing with return pump, something gets jammed in there, it's just too much crap in there and it'll just jam and break. Just keep everything clean. It's a lot less risky. 13, you do not need the 1 pound of rock per gallon. I am a perfect example of that. There's probably like 20 pounds of rock in here in a 70-gallon system, so don't get too trapped into the marketing of 1 pound per gallon. Number 14, this is my own personal advice. Keep track of everything that you put in your tank and the date that you added them. So I have an Excel sheet that has every piece of coral and every fish and every piece of equipment and the date it went in my tank and on this Excel sheet, and then also has the amount of days since. And I actually set it up to where 6 months down the line, the box will turn red when it's time to change the bulbs, or it's time to clean the return pump, or clean the sump, or clean out the skimmer. It actually alerts me. So it's a really good practice, and you can go, oh, when did I get this coral? It's doing really well, and you can scroll back and oh, I got it a year ago, so this is a year of growth. That's cool. So yeah. Number 15, photographing your aquarium monthly can show you just how much everything changes. I thought about doing a monthly video because I've taken pretty much consistently monthly photos of this tank since its inception. So I might actually do the video of progressions per month, and it's kind of cool to see how things are growing and how things are evolving and how your style evolves, and which corals kind of do well and which ones are kind of in a standstill. It's a good idea, or a good way to show you just how much is changing. 16, trading frags is way better than buying frags. I traded with a couple people and I got a way better bang for your buck, probably like a 1-to-1 ratio versus a local fish store where you do not get your 1-to-1. It's probably like 1-to-1/2. So you're giving more money than you're actually getting. Like I could spend $80 on an Aura tricolor Velita frag, or I can go to a friend and trade them a big piece of Setosa, and boom boom, both easy trades. You don't have to spend money twice. You can just trade them out since you already have them. So that's my big advice, is just don't buy frags from a local fish store. Number 17, test and challenge your local fish store employees. If you read something online or on the forums that your local fish store employees trying to totally bullshit you, call them out. I've done it a couple times where, they told me information that I knew was false, and they're like, no, that's not a good idea. And 99% of the time, they're like, well, okay, I learned too. Others, the other 1% of the time, they'll like defend themselves drastically and try and get you to spend the money. So don't be afraid to call them out on their BS, but also don't be afraid to do the research yourself before you go in there. They are not all-seeing. They do not know everything. 18. This is a big one. Just because a method works for someone else doesn't mean it will work for you, and vice versa. Zeobit could work for me, full Zeobit, but I don't think I could do the maintenance every day. So it may work for them, won't work for me, and don't just change everything because you think it'll work for you. Like, if you solely believe in it and you can do the maintenance and you can keep up with it, then do it. But if you're doing it just because it's a fad or whatever, then you could probably run into problems when you don't fully believe in what you're doing. That's like anything. Having a routine, number 19, having a routine will help you keep maintenance on point. Like, it's really easy to get into a habit. It's like brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth every day. It's a really good habit. If you clean the glass every day, after a couple weeks, it's going to turn into a habit. You're going to clean the glass every day, and it's just good practice. And same thing with inspecting, seeing if frags fell, if a pump's there, a bulb's out, a fan's out, whatever. Just checking that stuff and making it part of the routine can really limit some risk. Number 20. I like this one. When in doubt, just do water changes. Because there's a lot of things that can go wrong with water chemistry, and a lot of it can be solved by just doing some not too frequent of water changes. Like, at max, I do 2 10% changes a week until things are back on track. But it's very easy to get the salt ions out of whack, and everything is just pissed. So when in doubt, do water changes bi-weekly until everything's back on track and testing fine and looking fine. And last but not least, join a forum, make some friends, get inspired. There's a bunch of tanks on Nano Reef that I try to emulate my best the way I can. So definitely join a forum and meet some friends, trade some frags, get some advice, post some pictures. Definitely, it's a great community on some of the forums, and you can meet a lot of friends. You can get a lot of good deals on coral and stuff like that. And it's just a great resource because it's all very tried and true experience. So no one's going to lie in a forum about what they're doing, because why would they do that? They're not making any money off of their personal tank log or anything on there. So it's just a way to document your experience and get more experience. So that's my 21 tips and tricks and advice snippets. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want another one of these, I could probably come up with another 20 or so. If you guys want another one, be sure to let me know. I'll try and get some more footage because I've used this footage already. But thanks guys for watching. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can leave them down below, or on my Facebook, because I actually get notifications on my phone. It'll go right to my hand. I'll be like, oh yay, look at a notification. So YouTube, I don't always get that. So definitely leave me some recommendations. If you want to see another one of these videos, I can probably come up with 20 more. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your tanks, guys. See ya.